Hey everyone, this is Josh. Just wanted to preface this episode with a quick content warning because we do discuss rape and sexual assault for quite some time because we live in a hell world. So if you don't want to hear that, just skip from about 28 and a half minutes to 45 and a half minutes. Alright, that's it. Enjoy the episode.
But they are ruthless, hungry and in power again.
What the fuck is up, gamers? Welcome to Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die. Not a threat.
Just a fact.
I'm Josh, aka Lyndon B. Shoppin.
I am Evan, aka the Dow Doug Jones.
I'm Lauren, aka Paul Ryan and Screamin'.
I'm Caroline, a.k.a. George W. Cush, and the W stands for weed.
Nice.
I'm Zach, a.k.a. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos.
Got him.
Great. You may have noticed a couple new voices on the podcast with us today. Caroline, do you want to go ahead and just talk a little about yourself? You know, like mention one of your favorite hobbies or just an interesting fact.
Yeah, okay, sure. So, I'm Caroline. I'm from the Midwest, Columbus, Ohio. I am...
Ugh.
It's good.
Okay.
Shut up,
I'm
Michigan
14
person.
years young and I love weed.
Yeah, basically that. Yeah, I am white and gay, and
Hell
Nice.
that's basically it.
yeah. Not the white part, not the white part.
Yeah, no.
Hey, great. We're so happy to have you here. Evan?
Oh, yeah, I am Evan. I'm from Ontario. I am white. I am sadly not gay. And
My condolences.
That's disappointing. And NB-ish, maybe? I don't know. Perhaps. And yeah, that's me there. I am
We're
resident
happy
theory
to have
boy.
you. Gender is weird.
Oh, so you're our theory boy when Brooks isn't here? Nice.
Yes, I'm in this for the uni stuff, so I'm your theory boy for today.
Nice.
Oh, hell yeah.
So gender is fake, first off. We all know that.
Yeah, that's understood.
As we know.
As far as theory goes, what's one of your favorite theories that you have?
My favorite theories specifically for me, I think my favorite theory is that like pee is actually stored in the kidney and not in the balls. That's my theory that I've got right now.
Holy shit, that's
Interesting.
controversial.
Yeah, that's a little bit
It's
of
revolutionary
a spicy take there.
biology.
Can I get a source for that?
Is that like a Canadian thing that you learn in uni or whatever the hell you call it up there?
Yeah, all
In your
the
weird alternate universe.
yeah, all like the cultural Marxists up here have like brainwashed me into thinking that's where the pee is stored.
Okay, now
Nice.
can you tell me where for you, in your opinion, where the cum is stored?
The cum is stored? I think the cum is stored in like a separate small sac also within the kidney. The cum bag, it's usually called.
We all know the cum is stored in the heart. Anyway.
The real cum was the friends we made along the way.
Of course. So what the fuck
Great.
happened
Edit
this
all
week?
of that out and...
So, yeah, we got all the cum out of our system. And
Ugh.
let's talk... If the McElroys did it 2 episodes in a row, I think we can talk about some football.
All right, that's fair.
Tom Brady lost.
He
Fuck
lost.
Tom Brady.
He lost so hard, and
super
he
did.
cried, and he just totally ate it. And it was really good for me to see personally.
Touchdown Tom's soul left his body on live national television.
I'm not from Massachusetts, but I am in Massachusetts, and I know that other host of the show, Patrick, is like a diehard, well, maybe not diehard, but a Patriots fan, and I was thinking of him and like, we're fine. It's fine. We'll live.
Watching host of the show Patrick post about how Tom Brady and the Patriots are good, actually, like, I don't give a shit about football, but my blood was like boiling.
I think it's just because
Absolutely.
Bill Belichick is like Trump's friend, which is what makes it worse, I think. So it was nice to see the Eagles win, and,
And
underdog.
you could tell he's Trump's friend just by looking at Bill Belichick. You know he's a Republican.
Right, yeah, I don't know anything about football, but I just knew the Patriots were the Trump boys, and so I really wanted them to lose, and they did. It was good.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Justice was served.
The quarterback for the Eagles is like a Liberty University guy, though, like Jerry Falwell's thing.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Oh,
he's
wow.
like unfortunately also bad.
Wait, what's the deal there? Explain it
He's-
to me like I'm an idiot.
he
Hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, like what if?
he attends like some university for fundamentalist Christians on the internet.
Mhm.
And
Nice.
like I'm pretty sure he's like really right wing as a result. Like I don't want to like defame Nick Foles or anything, but like
Well,
I will.
pretty
One
Sure
thing you
him.
got to remember about Nick Foles is that he was the backup quarterback and only was the quarterback for the Super Bowl because Carson Wentz got injured, and that's the only thing I know about the Eagles season, even though I'm originally from the area. Thank you.
Which that could be kind of inspiring, and in a way it is because they still made Tom Brady cry.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
then all of the Eagles did thank God for the win. So I
Um,
think we have to give it up to him.
yeah, and then they partied the only way that sports fans know how, which was setting fire to the town. Which
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
it's a long-standing sports thing.
Right. I don't know if you saw, but in preparation, this was actually before when we found out that the Eagles were even going to play in the Super Bowl, they anticipated that fans were going to lose their fucking minds. So the police in Philadelphia were greasing up telephone poles with Crisco to prevent
Oh,
fans
yeah.
from climbing up them and I guess, I don't know, riding them through town. It didn't work. So
It did not work.
Just in case actually, this was regardless of whether they won or lost, there was going to be a riot. So this time they greased the poles up with motor oil,
That's good shit.
and it did not work. Like the Philadelphia can-do attitude is unstoppable. Oh,
When
and
it comes to fucking ruining their city, they will
yeah,
stop at nothing.
They flipped
Yeah.
a car. They rode garbage trucks through town, and also one guy literally ate horse shit on purpose.
Oh, he super did. All I know about Philadelphia is from show Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I'm glad to hear from the news that it's a documentary. Like when I think a couple summers ago, they had
not a
the
human being.
city of Philadelphia had to issue an ordinance banning dumpster pools.
Dumpster
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want
Can you
to
say those-
explain that concept?
What?
So you take the big
Challenging.
plastic container that is a dumpster and
Of course you
presumably remove all the trash and fill it with water, and you got a pool.
That fucking rules. What's the problem?
God, that's good.
The absolute worst thing about anything happening with Philadelphia sports is having to hear everybody talk about how they threw snowballs at Santa back in 1968. Like it's like it's a total like one trick thing, but everybody's like, oh, they threw snowballs at Santa.
I mean,
was
they do throw
literally,
batteries at
like 50 years ago.
I don't know what you're referencing at all.
The infamous incident in 1968 when Philly
It's not
fans
that
threw
infamous.
snowballs at Santa Claus, and like has soured people's perceptions of Philadelphia sports fans for decades.
Well, did Santa Claus deserve it? What was he doing? Was he fundraising for Salvation Army?
I don't. God, I fucking hope so.
Yeah, Santa Claus is actually a tool of the capitalist state,
I know
and
that.
the Eagles fans were just practicing good direct action by throwing snowballs at him.
All Santa does is emphasize the class divide between rich and poor, but it's
Right.
fine.
Like, the entire city of Philadelphia are all Delayanists. This is well known. So
It's,
So-
everyone knows this.
yes,
Yeah, of
So
course. It's
my
just
favorite
common
part,
knowledge.
my favorite part about the riots is how the cops were there in full force in anti-riot gear and just totally laying everyone out because they were doing such bad things to the city.
Oh,
just like they have
I'm-
done it.
I'm getting a wire. It looks like they only arrested
Oh, yeah.
3 people. 3 people.
Oh yeah.
Did
They like
arrest the
tore
horseshit
down
guy?
a hotel
Wait.
awning. 3 people.
Do we know the color of their skin at all?
I
By any
don't.
chance?
But
We know they were
Okay.
dumbasses.
I can hazard a guess.
So I'm gonna trouble this a little bit because, like, yes, this is
Uh-oh.
valid. But like,
No nuance allowed, Zach.
but I will say, like, Philly does have a pretty good amount of black people.
Okay.
Like, so it wasn't like this wasn't like the Cleveland like Super Bowl like win parade. Like,
So it's more about the cause that's the issue.
I think it was more about the futility of it, honestly. Like, they knew...
Like, it was just...
Like, they
There's
knew
just
that
too
if
many
they
people.
came out there and tried to, like, arrest anybody, they would just get, like, thrown in the back of a dump truck and taken to a landfill and buried alive. So...
Jesus.
Well, you know what? Harsh but true. Let's move on. Have you guys heard about the economy?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's not doing great right now.
But I thought Trump brought all the jobs back.
He did.
No, he did.
Oh,
Don't worry.
okay.
Don't worry.
But the jobs are all bad.
But they're all bad jobs. Yeah, the quality of the jobs
Well, they're
is just
back,
horrible.
so I'm satisfied.
It's
We
honestly
love
all
jobs,
that
it
matters.
turns out.
Wait, I'm confused. Are the numbers not supposed to be going down?
Oh yeah, you're right. It's like golf. Wait, which
Yeah.
Trump loves.
We had a historic point drop this week, and then when so you know how our president, who we all love dearly, loves to take credit for whenever the economy is doing well. Well, for the first time, the economy didn't do so well in a long time, but this time it wasn't his fault. So he tweeted about how the Dow was making a big mistake, whatever that means. And then
Well-
so today it went down again. But, and a lot of very rich people lost a lot of money, and apparently we're supposed to feel bad about it. So I'm gonna pull up a tweet that I saw, on the day that the Dow took its historic dive, from a guy named Scott Bubman, which, nice. And it says, had a rough day? Mark Zuckerberg lost $3.6 billion today. Jeff Bezos lost $3.2 billion today. Google's founders lost $2.3 billion each. Bill Gates lost $2.2 billion. Source Bloomberg. So I've been drinking leftist juice for so long that when I saw this tweet, it did not even occur to me that it was supposed to be anything but, like, mean-spirited. Like,
It has to be.
like, this is intended to be sympathetic.
How?
Which, big fucking LOL on that one. Because, are you kidding me?
I guess, like, the tweet, to me, the thing that's the funniest about it is he's saying these huge amounts of money, which he knows to people who read his tweets seem like incredible amounts of money, but the thing is that the people who lost that money have so much that they don't need to give a shit. Like,
Exactly.
it's only
No, it
people on
doesn't
Twitter
matter.
who are like, wow, $2 billion? That's, like, a ton of money. But, like, I don't feel bad because they don't care. The people who lost it don't actually care.
Right. It's like if I it's like, think you had a bad day, this person dropped a dime while they were pulling their wallet out of their pocket. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's like if it was a random, like, normal person who's like, oh, they lost, like, $5,000 in savings and that's their whole livelihood, then that means something to me.
Right. I'd be like, where's the GoFundMe at? But honestly, I'm kind of surprised that nobody's put together, like, a GoFundMe and tried to be, like, a bunch of liberals being like, let's get, like, Mark Zuckerberg his $3.6 billion back.
Oh, Jesus, probably.
So
Your famously
I
well-loved icon Mark Zuckerberg, who totally didn't
Yeah.
have to hire a million PR people to make him look like not a robot.
more like Mark Zuckerberg. Anyway,
Oh, boy.
got him. So I, on a whim, when we were talking about extreme wealth earlier this week, decided to test a hypothesis that I had, which is that Jeff Bezos could lose 99.9% percent of his wealth and, like, not notice functionally. So he is worth, I believe it was $115.7 billion. And if you subtract 99.9% of that, you are left with over $115 million. Does my math check out there? Because even if, like, I have a decimal point wrong and it's like $11.5 million, that is more money than I will see in my lifetime. I can't bring myself
you gotta
to
pull
care.
yourself up by your bootstraps, Zach.
And
That's the
work
problem.
like 115 times harder than Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
At least that. Yeah.
At least
just,
the rich are doing really important world-helping things with their money, like launching cars into space.
Oh my god. So I it didn't even make it to the asteroid belt. Like, not only did he fuck up landing a car on Mars, which is already like a dumbass display of wealth that achieves nothing. He was like, well, if we overshoot Mars and miss the, I don't know what he sounds like. I don't give a shit. If we miss Mars's orbital path, and it'll at least continue into the asteroid belt, and like it's gonna like not even make it there.
So where's it going?
Away. You know what this is? Like this. All right. This like okay. This achieves absolutely nothing, right? He's launched a car into space. It's not making it to Mars. You know what that is? It's littering.
No, wait, listen, like he might have shot his car into space in like the greatest show of American greed in years, but at least he sold flamethrowers to the American populace. I mean,
oh my god.
That's very true.
You want to know what the best part of this is? The day after they launched a car into space for no reason, Tesla announced its largest quarterly losses in its existence. Like, I think they lost $600 something million this quarter.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mean because they launched it all into space?
Oh, that's where all the money went.
They should have thought about that before.
It was in the trunk of the car.
Profits were in the glove box.
The Dow Jones, I just want to talk real quick about the Dow Jones dropping. Do people know what the Dow Jones is?
Hell no.
It's like an average thingy,
It's the stock
right?
guy, right?
So it's like a score that's based on 30 major countries in America.
Companies.
Not even like the 30 biggest.
You said countries.
It's just like, it's 30, companies.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he say?
He said, I heard him
I
say
said
30 countries.
God. They wish.
No.
I'm from every
Okay.
country in the United States except for one.
Yeah, all of them. Okay, so it's based on 30 major companies in America. And they're like changed every few years, and it's based on like how much each stock like share is worth. So it's not even based on how much the company is worth. So like this year they swapped out a huge bank for a much smaller one just because the like share price was worth more. If that makes sense, which is
Not really, but I'm a
Okay,
communications
well,
major,
that's fine.
so
it's the point is it's just dumb. And like the 30 companies that are chosen are fairly arbitrary. And maybe it would have made sense like 100 years ago when there were like 50 companies in like big ones around, but now there's like 7,000 that are publicly traded, and just basing it all off 30 is stupid. And
it's
not only
incredibly
that,
stupid.
Oh, it's incredibly stupid. And the historic drop was a huge point drop, right? But like percentage wise, it was like 4% of the Dow that dropped, where like we've had way bigger, like 8 and 15 and even 25% drops. Like that's when a real market crash happens.
Wait, so what makes this drop historic then?
It's like the number of points is like, imagine if you lost $1,000 right now, like that's, yeah, exactly. that's a lot of money to you, obviously. Now say you became a millionaire and you lost $2,000. Well, now at that point, I know, Zach. It's really frightening. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep scaring you like this. But that's the number of dollars that you lost is higher, but percentage-wise, it means almost nothing to you. And that's pretty much what happened with the Dow Jones.
Oh, so you're saying stocks are fake?
I'm saying the Dow Jones is fake, and then the stock market's not even a good indicator of where the economy's at, so it's all fake and it's all stupid.
Oh, cool.
And the only good part of it is that and it's all computer based anyway. Like the reason why the Dow Jones crashed is because a few computers were like, oh, we're going to sell off these stocks, and all the other computers were like, oh shit, they're selling off the stocks, we got to sell off our stocks too, and then they just dump it.
I heard like part of the reason why this happened though is because people were worried about wages going up. Horror of horrors.
Oh god.
fuck.
Oh, that makes sense actually.
Like they're they're all selling because people were making more money now, and obviously that's extremely bad that happened, and so like that's apparently the source of why all the computers started selling things off. I'm not an economist, but apparently that's what it was.
So you're saying that the unskilled laborers hacked the stock computers and
That's
caused
exactly
the crash.
that's exactly
Yeah,
exactly what I'm
absolutely.
saying.
Hack the planet.
I personally destroyed the Dow Jones on my own, actually.
Thank you for your
From the
service
comfort
to the
of my
country.
computer chair. We want to talk about the bad car commercial.
All right. Basically, what happened is they made a car commercial, and it was like any other commercial, except the voiceover man was Martin Luther King Jr. famed,
Batman was Martin Luther King Jr.
yes, famed civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. was
Heard of him.
just he wanted you to know that he drove a Jeep or a Dodge Cherokee or whatever the
It
car
was a
is
Dodge
called.
Ram. Thank you. Show some respect.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know the names of these cars, but yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing who they bring in next now. Like what? Who
Malcolm
else?
X.
Yeah,
Oh, Malcolm X loved to sell things.
historically pro-commerce man, Malcolm X.
Also, apparently, the sermon that this Martin Luther King audio was taken from was... The sermon also included an explicit condemnation of trying to sell cars to people. So...
Oh yeah, it's like 1 minute later in the speech that they played. If you just keep listening to it, then he talks about like, and they try to sell you need this whiskey and this cologne and this car because otherwise you're not worth anything. And he's just in a good way, he's ranting about how shitty.
Huh,
Like,
sounds
advertisements
anti-capitalist, but okay.
are. And it kind of does. But Martin Luther King wouldn't do that.
He
to
loves
us.
to have a dream and nothing else.
I've got the quote
So-
here actually. It's like, do you see people buy
Oh,
cars
thank you.
that they can't
Thank
even
you.
begin to buy in terms of their income? King said. You've got people riding around in Cadillacs and Chryslers who don't earn enough to have a good T-model Ford, but it feeds a repressed ego.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, like they use like
Yeah.
they use like an explicitly
yeah.
socialist
Get 'em.
speech for their like ad about a car.
So apparently the I don't know the actual name of it. I want to say the Martin Luther King Center. It's some institution devoted to Martin Luther King. And at least one of the members of his estate said that they didn't sign off on Dodge using that quote. But
Yeah.
apparently,
Yep.
one of Martin Luther King's children, the one who is the executor of his estate, has been criticized by his siblings in the past for mismanaging the estate. Because apparently they wouldn't sign off. It wasn't that they wouldn't sign off. It was the movie Selma couldn't use the clips couldn't use the contents of Martin Luther King's actual speeches because another production already had purchased the licensing to them, which is weird that that's a thing that
Yeah.
can happen. So they had to invent them
It
for
is.
Selma, which I did not
Yeah.
know. I didn't see Selma.
Yeah.
Selma is very good. Yeah, the
yeah,
commercial, it was the King Foundation, which Coretta Scott King basically established, and that was kind of the foundation that spoke out. And then it was MLK's daughter, I think Bernice, spoke out against the use of that
Yep.
particular, or just any of it, anything really that her dad said probably shouldn't be in a commercial to sell cars. But yeah, it's a whole shit show, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't go to court over it, because my God, it looked so bad. It was so tacky.
Even if he wasn't a socialist, this would still be inappropriate. Like
Like,
I
hey,
feel-
it's Black History Month. Buy a car.
it's like, come on, we understand. We here at Dodge, we understand what it's
Absolutely.
like. You want to buy a car, right? That's the point of this month.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't know.
buy a car month. It's
Right?
auto dealer respecting month.
Yeah.
I don't think anything legal is gonna happen though, because if I think Dexter King is the son, if he is the executor of the estate, it seems like he does have the authority to sign off on this. So no,
Yeah, the estate explicitly signed
Yeah.
off on this.
Yeah, so no justice
so,
will be served, and we're just gonna have to deal
they're
with
in the
it.
clear.
Can we talk about some? There are two other really politically troubling Super Bowl ads that I saw that I specifically want to mention. So one of them is the one where Budweiser made a very self-congratulatory ad about how they donated, I think it was like $500,000 worth of water to Puerto Rico after the hurricane. And the ad time for that commercial cost like several $1,000,000. It was the most melodramatic ad too. It was like a guy waking up and being like, "What? I'll be right there," and like kissing his beautiful wife goodbye, and like driving at dawn to the Budweiser factory where they dramatically switch all the Budweiser cans to say like Budweiser water.
They brand the water they gave to the Puerto Ricans?
Well, yeah, that's how they make their money.
That's so noble.
Can I just do a quick joke
course.
here?
No.
Yes. Just hold on 1 second. So,
Why wouldn't you?
Water, you mean Bud Light?
Yeah,
I get it.
Woo! Got him.
The
Okay,
craft
thanks.
brew expert has logged on.
Hey!
You know, I'm sipping on an IPA right now.
Oh, sounds
and
bad to me.
The hot profile is just so scathingly bitter. It's just burning my tongue. I love it.
Scathingly bitter. Did you read that off the label?
No.
Okay. So the other troubling Super Bowl ad, and stop me if you've heard this one, was the one where a bunch of white people got detained going through security and then had to...
Oh,
Finally.
God, that's
Shit, I
just
didn't see
horrible.
this one.
They got detained while going through security.
Oh, Jesus.
I think going into the Super Bowl, supposedly. Like, obviously it was a pre-recorded commercial, but whatever. And taken into this room where they were forced to watch sad cancer videos, where kids with cancer said that if you buy a car, such and such percent of the proceeds from that car will get donated to like St. Jude's Research Foundation. And then the cancer kids came out, and the white people had to hug them.
That sounds like
Great.
traumatizing, to be honest.
Yeah,
What?
like
Why?
personally, I love to be detained going through security, taken to a mysterious room, and then guilted into buying a car to benefit a charity a little bit.
Well, we all have our fetishes.
Love to commodify human suffering. Jesus. When I see a cancer child, I'm like, there's a product I can sell. The moment that's the first thought I have when I look at them.
The first thing that I see
thing
when I
is-
look at a child with a debilitating illness is,
You're
how
gonna
can I
help
sell
me
a car?
It's literally that meme that's going around of, you know, the general, like, market looking at social justice issues and identity politics and being like, is this a commodity?
Oh, yeah.
It's just so fucking cynical on like a base level. Like, they're just sitting in a room brainstorming like fucking madmen and thinking, what do people get most sad about? Kids
there's
with
only
cancer.
one thing this cancer girl loves, and it's a Dodge Ram.
How do these get past the ideas stage? Like,
Because every single person in this advertising firm is obviously a sociopath. That's the only way it makes it.
Like, I mean, if we accept the fiction that they're presenting to us, that this is like, that this is real and that these are real people and they don't know what's happening to them, like, being detained by security under any circumstances is fucking horrifying. And it's not even to, like, do something nice to them. It's to guilt them into something. And not even guilt them into actually donating to a charity, but to buy a car, which will then benefit a charity a little.
Yeah. What about Uma Thurman?
It says here in the show notes that she took down Totino's, which doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, Quentin Tortellini.
Yeah, anyway, Uma Thurman finally did an interview with the New York Times. You know, she had said a couple of months ago, kind of during the really big Me Too kind of going on that was happening in October and November, that she was very angry, but she was going to wait to say what she was going to say. And yeah, basically it was this piece that she did with Maureen Dowd, who sucks, but Uma basically is talking about the way that Quentin Tarantino pretty much just put her in all sorts of really terrible danger, keeping her around Harvey Weinstein in general, and also like all of the like violence that happens on screen, like to Uma Thurman in the Kill Bill movies, like when she's being choked or spit on, or Quentin was doing that off screen, and he just kind of generally doesn't seem to give a damn about women as people, instead of just kind of like sexy fantasies of revenge. And he's canceled. He is canceled.
He's been canceled because he loves to cast himself as the N-word man whenever possible. So.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in a sec when we get to the other thing Quentin did.
Oh, holy fuck.
But yeah, Quentin pushed Uma Thurman into doing a car driving stunt for the Kill Bill movies, where Uma knew the car was like fucked up, and she was very adamant about not doing the stunt, but Quentin like bullied her into doing it, and so she starts doing this car driving stunt and immediately crashes and injures her knees, and it derails her career.
Wow.
Yep.
Jesus.
There's definitely a pattern of like these male director auteurs, just badgering women, like famously Stanley Kubrick with Shelley Duvall in The Shining. I'm sure there's a ton more examples, but I can't remember.
Hitchcock was a lot.
Oh God,
terrible.
Hitchcock was like a sexual harasser. He was just fucking terrible to Tippi Hedren. I can't remember exactly, but
basically his whole like blondes thing, just like harassing all of his actresses all the time.
But how else can you get your actresses to do a good job, though?
I don't know. I mean, when you're in an environment where you need to be emotionally fragile and you need to like have a really close, trusting relationship with the people you work with, I think it's good to actually like be in a dangerous situation. I think that's good, and it makes better art that way.
I'm glad we're on the same page, Lauren.
I don't know if this is connected to anything, but I think it's interesting that I can't think of any actresses that have pulled the shit that like Jared Leto does for method acting. Like no actresses they would be like that shenanigans.
No, they need to be tricked into acting well. That's why.
Right.
They
aren't naturally
they need to
twisted.
be like gaslit into doing a good job. So the interesting thing about one of the many interesting things about Uma Thurman's sort of expose is that she mentions that she strongly suspects that a lot of the treatment that she received at Quentin Tarantino's hands, from being browbeaten into doing this dangerous stunt with faulty equipment, to being personally spit on by him for a shot. She alleges that this was actually punitive because she rejected Harvey Weinstein's advances.
Oh, God.
And she tried, she said, for 10 years to get a hold of the footage of the accident. And the only way that Miramax would give it to her was if she agreed to sign away any legal right to sort of claim damages.
God, of course.
And so she, of course, refused. But apparently, Tarantino, and I think Uma Thurman corroborated this, actually did finally try to get her the video on his own, which is I would not say it's a redemptive act, but I would say is like not an evil thing to do. I mean, he's still very evil, but like, you know. Yeah. Are you going to talk about that other horrible, shitty thing?
Speaking of Quentin Tarantino being evil, so our good boy Quentin, this was unearthed in the wake of the Uma Thurman story because it wasn't a big story at the time it happened. I wonder why. I wonder what that says about the culture at large. Quentin was on the radio with famous good guy Howard Stern 15 years ago, and he had some very important man opinions about the 13-year-old child that Roman Polanski drugged and violently raped. And his opinion was that she wanted it. He called her a party girl, and he said, this sentence just fucking blew me away, "I don't believe it's rape, not at 13.
Oh my god. He said that he believed, like, if he was like, it was statutory rape. We can't just throw around the word rapist. Like, who else says shit like that besides, like, dudes who are also sexual abusers? Like, for example, Woody Allen.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Woody Allen statement with, like, I don't want this to turn into a witch hunt where men can't even wink at a woman in the workplace without being taken to HR. Why the fuck are you winking at women, dude?
Yeah.
He loves
That's
to wink.
weird!
I just want to say, Woody Allen, retire, bitch. Thank you.
Woody Allen, die, bitch. Not a threat.
Like to charge, reblog to cast. It's happening
always.
this year, folks.
I think Quentin Totino's pretty much gonna retire at this point too, right? He's done enough. Is anyone here really just waiting for his next movie to come out?
He's trying to make a Star Trek movie.
Star Trek.
What?
Yep.
I can't wait to hear Spock say the N-word. I mean...
Yeah, okay. So, also in the interview, he compared it to, like, the word rape is thrown around recklessly, like the word racist is thrown around recklessly, which is really funny, because that directly translates to, I, a white man, wrote myself a role in my movie so I could use the N-word, hard R, a dozen times, and people are mad at me for some reason, hashtag fired for truth.
Spike Lee gave him
Imagine
permission.
Tarantino fucking cry typing at his computer like, I just wanted to make a good movie, but they call me racist.
Did you see, today, fresh off the presses, Quentin apologized. Do you guys want to hear the apology?
Oh, I sure
No.
fucking do, because I literally haven't heard it.
It's
Okay,
real
fine.
bad. So he says, I want to publicly apologize to Samantha Geimer for my cavalier remarks on the Howard Stern show speculating about her and the crime that was committed against her. 15 years later, I realized how wrong I was. Miss Geimer was raped by Roman Polanski. When Howard brought up Polanski, and this is the good part, I incorrectly played devil's advocate in the debate
Oh,
for the
nice
sake
fucking
of
try.
being provocative. I didn't take Miss Geimer's feelings into consideration, and for that I am truly sorry. So,
Okay,
Miss Geimer...
hang on. When Mr. fucking provocative for the sake of it, Howard Stern is the one telling you, she's fucking 13, man, then maybe it's time to pump the brakes a little.
Yeah, it's like... It just fucking means nothing to him. This horrific trauma of a little girl, a fucking child in middle school, is just like bants with the lads to him. And of course they all, like, still celebrate Roman Polanski. He's not ostracized in Hollywood at all. They gave him a standing ovation at the Oscars, even though every single person at the Oscars knew exactly what he fucking did and exactly why he wasn't at the Oscars to accept the award. It's because he fled the country so he could avoid jail time for raping a child, but they all gave him a standing ovation anyway, and it's real bad. Okay?
Like,
it's just bad.
The thing that they always jump to is like, oh, well, we have a legal system, innocent until proven guilty. Wasn't he literally convicted?
No, yeah, he confessed to it. He wrote in his... No,
Yeah, he pled guilty, yeah. So, like...
no, I was, he even wrote about it in his autobiography, and apparently he said that she never said no, which she said she did a lot, and...
cool.
And she's also 13 years old.
She's also 13 years old, and he also gave her alcohol and Quaaludes, which is the same sedative that Bill Cosby gave his victims, and he was, like, fucking in his 40s.
And
someone needs to, like, hard candy him, starring Ellen Page.
Oh boy.
like,
I
know
wouldn't
this.
mind that.
Like,
nice,
I know it
nice
should
plug,
be.
Josh. What's your
Like,
kickback?
I was gonna say, I know it should be obvious, but like I don't understand the distinction that like Tarantino was trying to make to start with. Like he says, oh, it wasn't rape, it was statutory rape. Does he not hear like the two words statutory and rape? Like it's still,
Yeah, it's right
it's
there.
the same
because,
crime. It's in the word. Like I don't understand what he's like. The point he's trying to make here. Like
It's
what-
because
what is he trying to
adult men fetishize teenage girls, and then they act like it's the girl's fault.
Yep.
And they will say stuff like, well, they're physically adults, they look like adults, but they super don't.
Yeah, who
Like,
has
high
ever
school-
looked at
I
a
only
13-year-old
graduated
and
high
been
school
like,
a few
just
years
like a
ago.
25-year-old? Nobody.
No, it's
Yeah,
not
high
the
schoolers
same.
already
It's
look
never
like
been
little
the same.
babies to me. And they, like the ephebophile, fucking whatever the pedophiles call themselves, like they're not, they try to justify it by saying like they look like adults, but the obviously they don't, and the attraction isn't in spite of the fact that they're children, it's because they're children. And It makes me want to throw up.
Like, I'm the youngest person on this podcast. I'm 19 years old, and I do not think, like, 13-year-olds look even close to me, let alone 25 years old.
No,
Like,
They objectively don't.
I know, like, it's just, it's a lie because he's a pedophile and he's trying to find an excuse for it.
They haven't even gone through puberty yet, a lot of them. It's...
Do we just want to keep this rage rolling right into the next topic, which is arguably the worst thing we're going to have to talk about?
Oh, the cop thing?
Tonight.
We love our cops.
Oh, hey. Bye, jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
BuzzFeed published a piece, I want to say either yesterday or today. It's about a teenager in New York who was, she was 18 at the time, and back in 2017, she was sexually assaulted by two off-duty, oh no, they were on duty at the time, on-duty cops. But in New York, which is one of the 35 states where officers can claim that somebody who was assaulted by an officer actually consented. So, if you aren't aware...
What a weird law, anyway.
Yeah, in the United States, it's illegal for, obviously for police officers or people who work in corrections facilities at all to have sex with inmates because they cannot legally consent. And
also, like, the very
New York
nature of
doesn't.
consent makes that impossible because of the position of authority that the arresting officer or, like, prison guard or whoever you want to say has over them.
This particular woman, she was in handcuffs in the back of a police van when they did this to her, and they claim she consented.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then did they not come to harass her in the hospital, like, to try to spook her into not testifying?
I don't think it was them, but I think it was other cops.
Yeah, it was
police department.
it was the Thin Blue Line thing. It was like
Some good
cops.
friends that wanted to help them out,
The scary thing is I wasn't sure if that was her or if it was someone else that was sexually assaulted while in police custody in New York.
Right, when I saw this headline, I was like, was this the same case, or is this a new one? Because this happens kind of a lot.
Like, how much of a fucking bummer is it that we have to even think that? Like, is this the same one?
Like, wasn't it last episode that we were talking, like, they're talking about putting, like, fake guns on people in case they, like, shot them by accident? Like,
yeah.
This is like, how do people not take this as a serious, well, I know why, but, like, rhetorically, why do people not take this like it's a serious problem when this just happens again and again?
Because it's a couple of bad apples.
It's just a couple of bad apples.
Yeah, I'm reading through the piece, just going over it, and back in December, she gave a deposition, because she's not going to be scared out of not, saying what happened to her and trying to seek justice. And she says that she sat across the table from the New York City attorneys, and the questions that they asked her, it was spanned 12 hours over 3 days. It ran, a transcript of the questioning ran for 740 pages, and they were going over her sexual history, her social media posts, her, just on and on about these very personal details about her life, and trying to, hopefully have a case up against New York State's and New York City's lawyers. And it sucks so much. And I really feel for this girl.
I don't even think that, I could be totally talking out of my ass on this, but I don't think you can still admit victim's sexual history as evidence in a rape case. I don't think you can do that anymore.
Good.
Does anybody? But there's still questioning about it.
I would fucking hope not. Are you kidding me?
They can still, I guess, as part of the questions, like, even if they can't
just to beat
submit
her
it
down
as official evidence, if they put it on the record and the jury hears it, then...
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that happened. You'll see, like, people take the stand and just say it anyways, because you can't unhear it, even if they strike it from the record, so...
Yeah.
What would that even mean? Like, the jury hears, like, oh yeah, she's had sex outside of marriage.
Yeah,
like,
she had sex with one person,
shit.
so there's no reason why she wouldn't be consenting to sex with every person, especially not two cops who restrained her and arrested her.
It's almost like we have some very weird societal conceptions about sexuality in women.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right. It's fine.
You know, we're in a place where you trust the police's word, you know, without question.
Yeah.
That kind of
It's
seems.
It's how we like to
Weird.
say all the time. Trust the police.
Well, the thing is,
police.
if these policemen, if these honorable blue men get in trouble for doing this, then how will other cops be able to protect and serve? How will they be able to keep doing their jobs? We're just gonna scare them.
They won't. The gangs
Okay.
will rule the streets. And we'll all be weeping as we're shot execution style in the head by roving hooligans. Like, if only we had respected the cops.
If only.
If
If
only we
only I had drank
appreciated
respecting police juice.
If only I had studied the blade.
If only I had mastered the blockchain. So we've had a lot of fun during these last couple of segments.
Yeah.
You want to just like blaze through some things that maybe are a little less of a fucking downer?
them. Yeah, let's cut
God,
this.
Zach, you know I love to blaze it.
Oh shit.
So real quick, we got one topic here. It's chips, but women can eat them. Have you guys heard about this?
Yeah.
So you guys, I think the women on this show and just our listeners are really gonna like this.
I've never had a chip before, and
You might have
now
seen men walking around, and us guys were holding our bags of Doritos, and we're just shaking all the little loose bits into our mouths, and picking them out of our beards for later to eat, and just all the things that men do, right?
Exactly.
Looking like a snack.
Well, now it's for women too.
Now
Wow.
a woman can too enjoy a delicious potatoed chip.
me, a woman. All right, but we
Wow.
should talk about the hot takes on this Lady
wait.
Doritos fiasco.
Yeah, so we didn't actually say what it really was, did we? That it was.
Oh wait, sorry.
So it was.
Yeah, we didn't.
So apparently,
I pre-joked.
yeah, we pre-joked a little too hard. So the I believe like marketing director of Frito-Lay, of PepsiCo, sorry, which owns Frito-Lay, which makes Doritos, I want to say, was on the radio show or podcast or whatever the hell, Freakonomics Radio, talking about how like men like to enjoy potato chips and Doritos and whatever a very specific way, and she described it in this very weird detail where she was like, they like to eat all of the crumbs, and they like to lick their fingers, and they like to turn the bag upside down and enjoy all of the crumbs at the bottom. Like, she describes it like this, very like mechanically. It's very weird.
Men, can you confirm?
Yes,
Confirmed.
I don't
I'd
like
love
to
to
get
lick my
dust
fingers.
on finger. It's bad, and it's the worst part of the Dorito, but I digress. So she was... reportedly, she then said, so we're working on like a different like model of Dorito chip for women that's a little less crunchy and a little less cheesy and dusty, so that way women can enjoy a chip with a quiet crunch and not have to lick all the dust off their finger, and they can eat it and be very neat and ladylike. And people were understandably thought that this was fucking stupid because it was like, hey Marvin, it's it's your cousin Marvin Dorito. You know that new chip you've been looking for? You listen to this, and it's just silent because it doesn't crunch.
I just want to know if there's going to be a distinction in chips for women, and then you have two gay ladies on this episode of the podcast. Will there be a special lesbian chip, which has all the
it has no
crunchiness?
dust that you can keep your fingers clean. Thank you.
I mean, that's important.
I don't know if you've seen, but the official
Well-
Doritos account weighed in actually on the Doritos controversy here.
Sure.
They I don't
Okay,
know.
sure.
I don't know. The Doritos. Is it appropriate to call it the Doritos controversy? Is this a controversy?
Dorito
Yeah,
Gate.
Dorito
Dorito
Gate
Gate.
2018.
Fine,
Doritos-
whatever.
No, it's Crunchgate.
No,
Crunch.
Yes, the official Doritos Twitter account tweeted, "We already have Doritos for women. They're called Doritos, and they're loved by millions."
It's equality. So
Thank you.
it came
Today
out
we will
that
eat a
apparently
Dorito.
these remarks, as the remarks that were made about these special Doritos for women, were taken heavily out of context from the radio program they were originally on, that the host of Freakonomics Radio kind of guided that questioning into, like, would you ever make a special
really.
chip for women? And they didn't.
Would you rather?
And they didn't even answer in the affirmative. They were just kind of like, eh. But, so in hilarious, consistent Freakonomics fashion, the host of Freakonomics Radio was like, hey, we're just trying to tell people stuff that they don't know already, and who cares about the context? Which is very Freakonomics, because Freakonomics is hot fucking garbage that thinks that context isn't important.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did any of you read Freakonomics?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, I used to listen to the podcast a bunch back when I was getting into podcasts.
Oh,
I read
okay.
the books.
Because the original, I bought the book for like $2 at a used bookstore, and I was like,
That's a steal.
I was moderately enjoying it until it got extremely eugenicist. There is a section.
that's
Oh, is it the
interesting.
abortion thing?
Yes. There is a
That's
section.
the one thing I know from Freakonomics.
Yep. There's a section in Freakonomics that analyzes the effect of legalizing abortion on crime rates, and basically posits that that poor black women in poor communities were having children that they did not want, and because these children were growing up in these allegedly problematic environments, that it was predisposing them to crime. So when abortion was legalized, these women could safely get abortions, and then it was basically super predator theory. Like, it was heavily bolstered by super predator theory, I'm pretty sure. Basically saying that now, if these women can legally get abortions, then they won't have these babies that then grow up that are predetermined, allegedly, to become criminals. So basically saying, like, actually, if we let the black population decrease a little bit, it'll be good for crime rates, actually.
Well, that's extremely
Yeah, that's
racist.
not even
Like-
fucking touching on the can of worms that is forced sterilization of women of color in the United States.
Yep.
And
Yep,
like how
yep, yep.
Planned Parenthood was started as like a eugenics thing. Margaret Sanger was a very strong eugenicist. It's bad.
A very strong one.
He could lift an entire bus.
Now, I didn't know about any of this, so I'm just gonna reach into my brain and pull out the floppy disk that has all the hours that I listened to Freakonomics, dump it into a food processor, and then we can move on.
You're removing the economic racism node.
That's the food processor.
Not only
deleting.
does that ignore, like, the context of, like, forced sterilization of women of color in the United States, it also ignores just, like, the basic concept of, like, what social conditions, like, cause crime.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, it was just, like, fucking... Like, this is what happens when you let these dumbass, like, data-focused, like... The cover of Freakonomics refers to one of the authors as a, quote, rogue economist, which is a load of horseshit.
Oh, jeez. That doesn't sound like a person that would be pleasant to be around.
Yeah, like, did you know that sumo wrestling is actually fixed? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy a drink across the room. But it's like... When you apply these, like, hard and fast, like, rules of, like, how the world works to things that have these complex social causes, you end up saying some shit that, like, sounds pretty racist when you think about it.
Imagine that.
Confirmed. So we do have some questions to get to, so let's do kind of a speed round of some shout-outs to some of our smaller topics. I don't know if this is good or bad, so you guys can tell me. But a Nazi is running unopposed in the Republican primary for an Illinois congressional district.
Yep.
So is that good or bad?
I'm gonna say.
Well, he's definitely
bad.
not going to win because
Well,
it's a
I mean,
heavy Democrat district. But like, apparently, the reason why he's the Republican nominee is that he was the only person who turned in his documentation on time.
Oh, wow.
You know what they say about the Nazis? They kept the paperwork coming on time.
Everyone always says that.
It's the famous saying about the Nazis.
And then the other cool thing is that he's running the Democrat that's already the incumbent that he's running against is anti-gay,
Great.
anti-abortion,
Great.
Love it.
and anti-immigrant.
Great.
Great.
Our 3 favorite things.
Oh,
Also,
so he's
his
like
seat
Doug Jones
is his
too.
dad's. It's his dad's. It's like he's a legacy candidate too. So it's like a legacy Democrat versus a Republican former Nazi. Who will win?
Whoever wins, we lose. Alien vs. Predator in theaters, 2003.
Thank you.
Conservative students are getting penalized academically for supporting the troops.
God, they sure are.
In this country?
Charlie Kirk actually made a tweet about that as well, if I'm not mistaken, and he's
Toilet
just
Paper
getting bodied.
USA.
Yeah, he's getting bodied pretty hard on Twitter right now as a result of that.
He likes to go onto college campuses and basically convince conservative teenagers to dress up like babies and, complain about safe spaces and then not really understand context or nuance or really any logic. But anyway, some kid, so Charlie Kirk tweeted, like, I have been hearing from conservative students that their liberal professors are failing them because they are conservative. And then
Can I interject real quick?
Oh, of course.
Talking about conservative students being penalized academically, the way he phrased it in his tweet was countless of messages.
Just countless.
Great.
And so I don't know if the girl who tweeted it actually wrote the essay. I don't know. I don't want to cast aspersions on that. But this essay that he's, I got a C- or a D from my professor because I said that we should stand. We should stand for the flag. And she posted this essay about, how important it was to stand for the national anthem. And just, it's written like a third grader wrote it.
Can I,
clearly didn't follow any kind of direction.
Please do.
Oh, okay, cool. So the essay is titled "Standing Up for Freedom," and this paper was handed in with no draft and no peer form, which means it was not edited whatsoever and was submitted directly to the professor to be destroyed.
Yeah, they didn't do the assignment.
Right, they just didn't do it. Ever since I was young, I always stood for the national anthem, and so did everyone around me. When entering high school, I found myself frustrated at the Friday night football games when someone would talk or wear a ball cap during the national anthem. I never thought by the time I entered college, people would be taking a knee during the national anthem. For me and my family, it felt like a punch in the gut. Not just... made me so angry I could bust a nut. For me and my family, it felt like a punch in the gut. Not just a punch where you can punch right back, but one that you aren't expecting and it knocks the wind out of you. I believe everyone who is a United States citizen should stand for the national anthem, and out of respect for the men and women who risk their lives daily for the freedom of the United States citizens. So it's very redundant, but I'm going to skip to this part where the author... first of all, there's a huge paragraph that's just talking about the flag for no reason, and the teacher annotated it by saying, does not relate to thesis.
Yeah, that was the main objection of, they're saying the flag and anthem are two different issues. The fucking liberal, cultural Marxist professors docking me great.
And an eagle named Small Government, yada, yada, yada. So there's this paragraph that says, I believe that everyone should stand for the national anthem to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice of their lives. I would think that this statement alone would be enough to convince people to stand, but unfortunately it is not. I believe everyone should stand because everyone knows someone who has risked it all. We are so privileged as to have the option to stand and honor or protest in disrespect, unlike other countries. We have the privilege to show pride in who we are as Americans and what we say, do, and wear. Other countries, like North Korea, have no access to a public internet or any way to show their pride for a country of censorship. And here there's an annotation from the professor that says, you contradict yourself here by saying that we have the freedom to protest, but you are against the protest.
Yeah, really.
So anyway, it's a really good essay.
I think the professors are just upset that their liberal views have been destroyed by logic, and so they're
resorting to ad hominems.
I'm gonna say it. They're butthurt.
Yes.
May I suggest apostrophe your?
Ah, yes.
Thank you.
I mean, that's literally what the professor's notations are, just very basic instruction.
But you know.
Except for the parts where they literally wrote, like, this makes no sense, this doesn't relate to your topic, you can't write, and at the end wrote, Clara, you make the same point repeatedly and do not take into account why some people are kneeling. I am also concerned about the untradition?
I think it's just ultra-nationalism.
Contradiction.
Oh... Bad handwriting.
Teacher handwriting, right?
Decent writing, which, I don't know. But look at my notes about sentence revisions. So that was like a very gentle caress of a...
She even said decent writing, which is
a
clearly
lie.
fake news.
That was just like lobbing her like...
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, like, your essay was, like, nationalist garbage, but, I mean, it wasn't terrible.
This is an extremely typical, like, corrections that... I was an English major and, like...
Oh, Josh, you were an English major?
Say
some English right now.
So...
I thought so.
Fuck.
I broke him.
Owned on his own podcast.
What I like is that the final paragraph where the teacher's kind of doing the sum up, like, implies that she's been, like, a huge shithead and keeps making this argument in class, like, over and over again.
Oh, you
like,
know she does.
I like the fact that he says, like, you make this point repeatedly in class. So that means, like, every, like, other day she's standing up and being like, we should stand up for the troops.
Now, it doesn't say in class, so we could interpret it either way, but...
She's just walking around campus yelling at people to stand up for the national anthem.
She's reciting the Pledge of
literally.
Allegiance like in elementary school, but just by herself in the middle of the professor's lecture.
She just kicks the door down to some school. Stand for the national anthem.
So, so a publication called the One News Foundation, and
there's only one. You get one.
The Good Faith Reportage Tribune, as someone called it. Kent State professor takes points off of student assignment and says, "Consider why people kneel," referring, of course, to the NFL. The lead of this is Kent State University professor Mary Owens is like most liberal professors. She doesn't know how to grade objectively. She allowed her clear judgments to show on a student's paper and hurt the student for having an opinion. And the author of this article is like, he looks like a 17-year-old kid wearing a black t-shirt in his like professional LinkedIn profile with dog tags.
Nice.
Of course.
Do you think he served?
It's very cool to respect authority and also the police.
It's very cool to support the troops.
It's very cool to wear a diaper on campus and talk about how it's limiting your free speech to not be able to call people horrible slurs.
You guys want to jump into questions?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I guess.
Just hop on in.
I'm gonna start reading these just down the list.
Oh, while we're taking a second, I don't know how many of you saw Mike Cernovich has tweeted just during the podcast that he's running for Congress this year, potentially.
Is he gonna run against
Holy
Chelsea
shit.
Manning?
I don't know, but like the fact that like actual like 100% known sexual assaulter Mike Cernovich is now running for Senate.
Convicted sexual
Not
assaulter.
good, I'm gonna say.
No, it's not.
Yeah, maybe we should actually
Many
include this
ways-
in the podcast.
Yeah, like we should probably bring it up.
Breaking hot off
Well,
the
this is
presses.
fine. We just did.
Yeah.
We brought it up.
Yeah, so we did it.
Yeah, we parted the kimono, and now it's here for all of you to see.
Don't like that turn of phrase.
Host of the show, Sam, is yelling from the Phantom Zone about how we need Doug Jones.
We do need Doug Jones.
The
Do you want to read the Twitter question, Zach?
Yeah, so our first question.
What is our Twitter?
Oh, yeah, you could send us a question, if you have any, on at HKIPT. Wait, no, shit. It's hard. Okay.
Just send it to at HKIPGTD.
It's at HKIPGTD. That's on Twitter. So this one is from Tough Sturm CG. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've heard that left wing and right wing mean different or opposite in the USA versus the rest of the world. How does that work? Is it true, or is that just code for most of the world is lefter than the USA? Shh, don't tell, it's a secret.
Now, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm an American. I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Now,
think
like,
like a
a
cursory
country-
Google is like, you know, the left and the right are kind of generally considered, like, left is more liberal and right being more conservative. Like, I think that's kind of standard in the West at least. But I mean, for the rest of the world, then hell yeah, everybody else seems to have actual leftist parties because the U.S. does
Yeah.
not have established leftist political
Like,
representation.
a country's like a bird, right? It needs a left
needs to
wing
fly away?
and a right wing in order to fly. Okay, just that's
Okay.
all you
I'm
need
sorry,
to know.
my lady brain couldn't understand that. I think it was too technical.
It's just too much logic.
Yeah, too much logic.
You need to have some Doritos for women. Think about it. Take a
No
second.
problem.
Femritos.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be analyzing those words for years to come, I'm sure.
All right, I'm going to read some questions from host of the show.
And enemy of the
Enemy
show.
of the show.
And enemy, and also inspiration for the show.
Just kind of
Unfortunately.
lightning round it, you know?
Also
Yeah.
a good friend of the show at the same time.
Yeah.
This is on Tumblr, which is also HKIPGTD. You can send in questions there. Please do it.
And Brooks is Tumblr user Sirius Jones.
Yeah, you're right. You got it. He says, what would you blast into space if you had the wholly immortal amount of unearned money that Elon Musk has?
Should we just go down the line?
Let's start with Evan.
All right. I feel like I would blast Elon Musk into space.
Got him.
Oh, that's good. You, Brooks.
I think I would blast Henry Kissinger. He can go.
He's
You
just
know,
gonna
off to the
die
asteroid
anyway.
belt.
Henry
Goodbye.
Kissinger's Pokemon going to space.
Oh, nice. Henry Kissinger's Pokemon going to Mars.
That's. I mean, they don't have Cambodians on Mars, so that's good.
Oh.
Too much.
All right,
Too much.
Caroline.
Myself.
Oh.
So I can just leave.
All right, Zach.
No.
Every host of this podcast.
All right, now I want everyone to sit back and imagine all of these people that we mentioned together on one rocket headed into space.
I don't like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I hate
I'm not
that.
okay with that.
Okay, sorry. Another question from Brooks Oglesby, aka Sirius Jones on Tumblr. How can we reconcile Lieutenant Surge's history of furthering American empire with the fact that he's clearly the best Kanto gym leader?
Hey,
I don't know what
Lieutenant
half of those
Surge is a
words
war
mean.
hero. Show some respect.
Yeah, it's a very good point. There's no reconciling to be done. He served our company. He protected
Our
He
company?
saved us all. Wait, did I just say company?
Did you serve with Lieutenant Surge?
You said company for country and country for company. This is amazing.
No.
The mind of Josh.
The circle is completed.
Well, you know what? In capitalism, they're one and the same.
Exactly.
Hey,
Another
wait.
solid
Is
point.
Lieutenant Surge's Raichu also a war hero?
Yeah, just like in that movie about like the horses. You know the one?
Oh, you mean the one where these
War
soldiers rode horses and
Oh.
it's
12 strong.
propaganda.
Yes.
The one with the extremely long subtitle. It's like 12 Strong, the true story of these legendary soldiers who rode a bunch of horses to further Americans' interest abroad.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Probably starring like the guy who plays Jim in The Office or whatever, because that's all he does nowadays.
No. It was one of the Hemsworths. I can't remember if it was
Chris.
Thor or the one that
was
married Miley
Thor.
Cyrus.
Thor, why?
I don't know.
He needs
Thor.
that money.
Thor is a tool of American imperialism.
Oh well, okay,
Isn't
that's
he?
fine.
Isn't he Australian?
Yes.
He's a tool of Australian imperialism, then.
Okay, all right, got me there.
Another question from Brooks Oglesby, Sirius Jones. How would you make Lenin's mausoleum even more metal?
Well, it's made of glass, so jot that down.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I think we've already hit the limit. Another question from Brooks Oglesby. Do you think Lopunny is like that on purpose?
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
the people who did the Pokemon designs for Gen 4 absolutely watched Space Jam and were like, "Oh, hey, can we make a horny bunny Pokemon?" And then they made one that in its sprite literally looks like it has under titty.
Yeah, and anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, just Google Lopunny. It's a Pokemon.
Oh my god,
And-
Lopunny, when it mega evolves, it gets ripped stocking patterns on its legs. Like, fuck
That's
off.
so horny.
No way.
It's already
I
so
like
horny.
that
It just gets
the
hornier.
personality in the like
God.
Wikipedia description is like, she's cute, but she's clumsy. And I'm like, what is happening?
Oopsie whoopsie, I just dropped my Pokeball.
I
Lopunny is
live
the
there.
manic pixie dream girl of Pokemon.
No, she's that picture of the like hot girl bending down to pick up a book and then becoming a nerd.
Josh, these next two questions from Brooks, I think, establish, like, they are the most perfect, like, summation of Brooks's personality, I think. The next two questions.
All right. Okay, so everyone just settle in for this. Brooks asks, how can we begin to imagine a future in which community justice replaces an oppressive penal system and police state? Now, I want to read the next question before we answer the first one. And the next question is, what color and or consistency do you think best describes Wobbuffet's loads?
Okay, I got this one. They're bioluminescent, like the Shape of Water guy.
No, we can't answer either of these now. They cancel each other out.
Yeah, scratch that.
Sorry, Brooks.
Wobbuffet is another Pokemon, and...
That's not how you
only
pronounce it.
How is it you pronounce it?
It's Wobbuffet.
Well, I'm very bad at pronouncing things.
Wobbuffet. I hate it.
Oh, wait, so it's like Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close enough.
Uh,
For the first question, I guess it would just be, I mean, how do we possibly reform the criminal justice system? It's probably just recognizing that the police and the private prison industry it's an industry. It treats the people who go to prison under the 13th Amendment
Right.
like they're slaves, and it essentially, like Brooke says all the time, it values profits over the people that they're supposed to protect, so
Okay.
it's abolishing all of that.
But here's the thing, it's not just private prisons, because even public, like, government-owned
exactly,
and
yeah.
operated prisons still engage in this idea of corporate labor, corporate production using prison labor. So, like,
I
you're
think
making,
it's all just
you're making
gotta
things
start
for
locally.
Microsoft or whatever, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean, and Brooke's question really is, how can we imagine a future where community justice takes its place?
The thing is,
And,
like,
I
I
mean-
literally can't.
Yeah,
I don't have that
literally-
imagination.
Maybe
Yeah, I
if
mean,
I read, like, a good book on it, I could begin to even understand how that would work.
If
But,
I
like,
had... If I read literally any leftist literature, which I have not, then maybe.
Yeah, if I'd ever read a book at all in my life.
If I can be theory boy here for just one
Please.
Please
second.
do.
Oh, good.
Do it. Save us.
I've Michel Foucault's Discipline and Punish. That's the one. Talks basically exclusively about this and is pretty much entirely a criticism of the American prison system, and well, not the American prison system, but the prison system generally. And that book, it doesn't exactly lay out a solution in so much as within its criticism, it sort of lays out the problems, and you can extrapolate from there what should be done. And the main thing is that the prison system's used to mold people into model citizens, into model capitalists. So basically a system that doesn't do that and instead tries to repair whatever caused the problem, as opposed to repairing the person at a fundamental level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I think Mark
That's some
Lamont
good
Hill,
shit,
who he
thank
shows
you.
up on Twitter a lot. It is very good theory. Thank you. Yeah, Mark Lamont Hill talks a lot about prison abolition and how we can talk about restorative justice, especially like because his book, I think the book's called Nobody, but it really talks about kind of the way that the U.S. kind of prison system is set up in such a way that it prevents actual justice from happening, and it's I've heard it's pretty good, and he's a pretty smart guy from the things I've heard him say. So I'd look into his stuff, and yeah, like Caroline said, also starting locally.
Yeah, the
And
operative
building
word is
community with each other.
You've got to build connections to your neighbors, just people around you to counteract the alienation inherent in capitalism.
The people that you're accountable to.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And like I do want to say, like, this has all been very good praxis. Sorry, but ever since you mentioned the name of that text, I've been thinking about Sin and Punishment for the N64, and I haven't been able to stop.
I wonder if
Great.
any can we find the geeks and the gamers in this chat? Is my question.
lie.
There they are.
You want to do some more questions?
Yeah, we have plenty more. Let's just kind
Do we?
of keep moving through them.
I think we have
so
two.
many more.
No,
No,
have
keep scrolling,
many
baby.
more than that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it continued on to the next page. Tumblr user Futch
Next one
Cassidy
after that.
asks, funny Malcolm Turnbull get held hostage by far-right minority of own benchbackers? Backbenchers? I can't read. Just a little Australian humor for you all. I'm not Australian. Next question. Mike Dawson
Thank you, Futch
asked,
Cassidy.
is Brooks
Thank you,
Oglesby
Futch.
the leftist Dan Ricker? I don't know who that is, Brooks or Dan Ricker. Next question.
Dan Ricker. Wait, real quick. Dan Ricker is the one with the really bad opinions on Giant Bomb. So yes.
Wait.
Well, no, because Brooks has good opinions, and I think Dan Rickert, the only thing I've heard him say is like, oh yeah, I would sell out, like, people selling cigarettes to the police.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Brooks's bad opinions are like socks. Wait, what is it?
Oh, that
Socks are
shoes and
actually-
socks are the
Shoes.
same?
That's
Yeah.
a good opinion, though.
Yeah, yeah. But Dan Rickards' opinions are like, actually, the police are good,
Oh, okay.
and I'm a narc. So I'm just kidding, Brooks. Sorry.
Mike Dawson sent a bunch. Next one from Mike Dawson. If the Academy Awards are movie ball, what is the Super Bowl?
It is a Super Bowl, as in a weed pipe.
Yep.
I got
that was
it.
good.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Oh, so weed. I understand.
Next question.
In the interest of time, I think we're gonna skip a couple of these questions from Mike Dawson. We still love you, but we gotta keep this ball rolling. Sometimes host of the show, taking turns at random, aka Patrick, says, "How can America begin recovering from the good team's devastating Super Bowl loss?" Like, my eyes just went
Patriots
completely
apologist
black.
and Targaryen
Jesus
royalist.
Christ.
Targaryen loyalist Patrick.
No, I think the first step is banning Patrick from ever hosting this podcast.
It is law.
It is law. I'm the leader of this podcast, so it's law. And Futch Cassidy... just kidding, Patrick, sorry. Futch Cassidy sent out another ask that says, are there any political phrases that elicit a negative, visceral response from you? It's pretty Australian specific, but stop the boats always gets me.
Ugh.
I don't know
I can
what
tell.
that means.
I don't even know the context, and I can tell that one's.
Oh yeah,
It
that's
sounds like...
Oh.
that sounds like the
It
Refugee
sounds pretty
detention
anti-immigration to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much so.
Oh, cool.
I mean, obviously
Nice.
anything that's like conservative or Republican, like
Right.
America First or Build the Wall. I mean, that's the most obvious stuff that we all feel that way, but...
I've been getting
What about-
increasingly nude online about like protecting our freedoms.
Old stock Canadians always gets me. There's my national specific one, but back when the conservatives were talking about protecting old stock Canadians as like code for white people, that always pissed me off a lot.
Yeah.
That sounds real bad.
Yeah, it was really racist.
I'm gonna go in with one that's not like an obvious like conservative one. I'm gonna go with I really don't like love Trump's hate because
Oh, yeah.
oh my god, did it not? And also what like
It's super
It super
didn't.
didn't is the thing.
super didn't, and also it doesn't mean anything. Like it really doesn't mean anything at all.
And
Politically.
also,
It's
like,
just-
what am I gonna do with this fucking t-shirt now?
exactly? Ugh.
Yeah. Also, illegal immigrant is just one that really gets me riled up now. I really bust a nut over it.
Yeah.
Please don't say that.
When you're mad? Just get
What?
so-
It's a
thing you do when
Mabim
you're
Bam
mad?
joke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a Mabim Bam joke. We're frauds.
Oh yeah, sorry. We shouldn't like be explicitly making references to other podcasts, but we're
But
doing
we
it.
super are.
No, I'm following along.
Okay. Did everyone go but me for this question?
Sure.
I think so.
Okay. So I think the one that annoys me is the America is great because America is good.
Oh god, yes.
Yeah.
Like, first of
That's
all,
not.
no it fucking isn't. Second of all, shut up. Third of all, it all that does is take away like the individual responsibility of Americans to be like, we're Americans, so that makes us good by default, which means that we don't need to aspire to anything greater. Like, we have a baseline goodness level for some reason.
We don't.
We super don't.
We never have.
We super don't, and we never have, and all this does is make people lazy and complacent. Sorry, no jokes.
Fair enough.
It's kind of funny when you think about it, though.
Oh, yeah, it super is.
Another question from Butch Cassidy, if you don't mind me saying.
This one sounds like it might take a while.
That's possible. We gotta move. Okay, we'll do this one as quickly as our brains can possibly process.
Let's all just yell them out.
Okay, great. Following up with the previous episode's title, which, for the record, was Henry Krangsinger, which, as you might know, is a reference to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Which leftist, left-wing names would you name your 4 turtle sons? So,
Bernardo.
I think maybe a way to... Okay. Great. Wait, so how does this work? What... Do I just have to name leftist people?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I guess
This is
you
a
put in
problem
your
because
Ninja
I
Turtle.
know nothing about leftist theory and nothing about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I
All right, so it would be Bernardo, Jeremiah,
Who are these people?
The boys.
Are these
Bernie
biblical names?
Sanders, and Jeremy Corbyn. Keep up.
Oh, okay. Sorry. And then just Trotsky
Okay.
and Carl.
Oh,
Carl doesn't get out much.
I'm gonna go.
Poster.
He's a poet. All right. We have one last question from host of the show and also our hearts, Tumblr user Dork Phoenix, aka Alex, aka Funny Alley, who says Valentine's Gay is coming up soon, and I wanted to kiss endure from me to you. Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Happy
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
You there?
Nice
What
note to
day
go
is
out
it?
on.
Oh, by God, I haven't missed it.
Is Valentine's Gay? Wait, is Valentine's Day the most LGBT holiday?
Valentine's Gay
Yeah,
or day? Well, Valentine's Gay.
they're one and the same.
I mean, it is very
mean-
much like a Hallmark holiday. Like, not even in a cynical
Yeah,
way,
it's up.
just like a literal
It's
way.
up there. I think Beyonce's birthday is up there as well. And I think
cool.
I personally also celebrate the birthday of Alison Bechdel. So
Okay, so all the national holidays.
All right, so you're
Yes.
a geek, confirmed.
geeks and gamers.
All right, this has been quite an episode, and
Oh boy.
I've had a lot of fun.
The
doing this
tone
episode.
has
I've
been...
had a lot of fun in the second half of this episode where we told jokes.
All right, let's do our Lightbringers. I can start.
Go ahead.
I know this is incredibly old because this is... So I've been watching Hannibal, and believe it or not, despite what Tumblr led me to believe, it is not just like Supernatural with serial killers. It's actually a good show with good writing and good characters, and it's decently gay. It's getting there.
I've definitely heard that it's
Excellent
very
showrunner.
gay.
But he also loves to leave after like one season of everything else he's ever worked on. So
He does, but he didn't when it comes to Hannibal, and
he stuck
it's
it through.
it makes me so happy and also so terrified just to be in my own home.
As somebody who has a Hannibal tattoo, I think I can say it's pretty good as a show.
Oh hell yeah!
You have a Hannibal
good.
tattoo?
What's the
I
tattoo?
do. It's a teacup
Where is
Oh,
it?
nice.
on my leg.
No tramp stamp, huh?
Okay.
No, I gotta think, if I was gonna do that, it would probably be like way bloodier.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Bloodier. Okay. Anyway, Evan.
For me, I'm going to be Theory Boy again and say I've been reading W.E. Du Bois' The Souls of Black Folks, and it's
Hell
a really
yeah.
good book. It's extremely good, and it's really
Nice.
readable because it's more like it's more modern, and it just deals with like a lot of problems with race relations that still apply to today. And I would recommend anybody who cares about that stuff, and you should, to read it.
Nice.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to listen to this podcast, you absolutely have to read some leftist literature.
That
Otherwise, you
goes
just won't be able
for
to
the
keep up.
listeners and the hosts.
I can't read though.
Yeah,
That sucks.
You'll get there.
There's got to be
We'll
an
help you.
audiobook podcast. I have really been into listening to old backlogs of podcasts while playing on my Nintendo Switch, and I've been enjoying the DLC for Breath of the Wild. I love to run around and solve puzzles and listen to old episodes of We Hate Movies. That's what I do.
Oh, nice. Which DLC are you playing? The first one or the second one?
I'm doing the Champions Ballad one.
Oh, that one's good. I mean, I'm sure the first one's good too, but I haven't actually really played it.
Yeah, it's good. I like new content. I love content.
I also like content.
Okay, Caroline.
I also like
Yep,
content.
that's my content.
I've been, even though I can't read, I've been reading a book called Backlash, and I don't remember the author's name, but it is about how basically every single progress, every single wave in feminism has been met with like the same criticisms and the same backlash from modern society, like way back to like Seneca Falls, and it is a good read.
Is that
Damn.
Susan Faludi?
Yes, I do think her first name is Susan.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. Zach?
Tag.
So I read a lot of comics. I spend way too much money on comics. And one that I've been surprisingly enjoying very much is the Marvel comic series Black Bolt, which I think just came out in a collected volume, and I really strongly recommend it. Because Black Bolt is not a character I ever expected to care even one iota about. He's a member of the Inhumans, who I've always thought of as kind of a rip-off X-Men for when Marvel doesn't have the rights to use the X-Men in film media, which they now do. And he's also royalty, which, like, again, not great. But the interesting thing about this character is that because his powers all come from his speech being very powerful, he's a silent character, and so a lot of the writing of the book, instead of being textual, is subtextual, narrative, and it's kind of a more internal and focused series because of that. It's really good. The art is gorgeous. It's written by Saladin Ahmed, and the artists are Christian Ward, and it's really just a fantastic comic, and I recommend picking up the first trade paperback if you could get it for cheap. Also, it's about why jail is bad.
Nice.
I'm Josh, and you can find me on Twitter at Twigrists or on Tumblr at Venusaurphobia. And I do nothing else.
I'm Evan, and you can find me at TP_Albuquerque on Twitter, and that's all.
Nice. You can find me on Tumblr at Run the Gems, and you can find me on Twitter at LLeblanc_.
But who are you?
Oh, I'm Lauren. Hey.
I'm Caroline, and I'm on Tumblr as Winter's House and on Twitter as C Savage with 2 V's.
I'm Zach. You can find me on Twitter at Cataquax, and on Tumblr, where I'm not that active but still occasionally reblog stuff, as Nightzoned with a K.
Great. All right, you can find us on Tumblr at HKIPGTD, and you can find us on Twitter at HKIPGTD, and you can send us questions to both of those places. Please do. We want to thank the Taxpayers for the use of their song Evil Men off the album Cold Hearted Town. And
we want to thank Sam of the
it.
show, Sam, for yelling at all of us to mention all of this in the Discord chat.
Yeah.
In the Discord, which, by the way, is now open to the public, and you can join it if you want to, and you should.
You can find a
definitely
link to it on all of our social media, I assume. Someone's definitely posting that. Not me.
Yeah, it's on our Twitter and our Tumblr both.
And
So
speaking of
please
hosting, you can find us on noisepace.xyz/HKIPGTD.
Yes.
Thanks,
And
Matt,
thank you
hosted by
for
host
your
of the
website.
show.
Yeah, host of the show, Matt, who we love.
Matt. Thanks, Matt.
Well, I love
whom
him.
we love, but also is the enemy of the show. But also we love him.
We are all the host of the show and the friend of the show and the enemy of the show.
So true. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to Henry Kissinger. Is Pokemon going to die? Not a threat.
Just a fact.
Memento Pokemori.
Bye, guys.
Toodaloo.
Peace out.
We love our cops a lot.